Good morning. It's Wednesday, December 13th. Here is what we are working on this morning. A man who was murdered outside his workplace on Hamilton Mountain has been identified.
City of Hamilton is offering zero-interest loans for residential home energy retrofits through a new program.
And Andre Brower, known for his role on Brooklyn Nine-Nine and Homicide, has died. Here we are, Wednesday morning already. Brian, how are things shaping up?
Would you like a chocolate chip muffin that's just kind of sitting here?
That's mine.
Where'd that come from?
It's called breakfast.
Is that your breakfast? Oh.
Somebody didn't eat before the show.
Somebody's getting hangry. Someone else should not touch one's muffin.
Kim, let her eat. Let her eat,
If
please.
you know me, let me eat.
Yeah.
Will I hear your belly growling? Sometimes, because we sit so close to each other, it's like, was that just your
Was
belly?
that you or was that me?
Let's hope it was your belly growling.
That's not bad. All right, what a start. Hey, there we go.
Okay, shall we get into something better
Yes,
here?
do that.
Yeah, we're looking at some sunshine for the day today. It will be a little bit cooler than it was yesterday. Yesterday, we got to 5 degrees. Okay, we had that wind, though. Today, the wind is going to continue, but high of only +1. We're sitting at -3 right now with a wind chill of -8. Yeah, and that wind is going to be pesky again today. There's a chance of some flurries, but generally, we're looking at some sunshine for the day, and we'll talk about that coming up. Traffic 403 Waterdown Road. Start with that camera. Looks good right now. Nothing to see there. To our MTO traffic cameras. This is the QEW, the Red Hill Creek. Had word of a disabled vehicle here heading Fort Erie bound. Be towards us, but not picking it up here on this camera. So nothing to see right there. Top of the Skyway looks good. We'll flip ahead to Appleby Line. That's basically how everything looks this morning. So no problems on the roads. We'll look at weather and traffic, of course, coming up in a few minutes for you. Right now, the news.
Thank you, Brian. Hamilton police this morning looking for at least 2 people suspected in the shooting death of a 33-year-old man on the East Mountain. Simone Gavros joins us from the scene with more.
Hi, Annette. Well, yesterday, police identified the victim as Spencer Laughlin from Hamilton. And yesterday, the shooting scene here spanned across both of the parking lots here on Nebo Road and Hempstead Drive here on the East Mountain. Now, yesterday, detectives told us to the press conference yesterday, told people that the shooting happened behind me here at Satellite Tire, where Laughlin worked.
It has been determined that the shooting started outside of 100 Nebo Road at Satellite Tires, a business at which the deceased worked. Spencer was pursued to the neighboring property at 70 Nebo Road, where he was shot several more times and ultimately succumbed to his injuries.
Now, detectives say he was working at the time of the shooting, and police say the shooting was targeted. There was a very brief interaction between the suspect and the victim outside of the business before the suspect began to shoot. Now, the shooter fled the scene north on Nebo Road in a dark-colored 4-door SUV driven by a second suspect. But police described the shooter as a black man around 6 feet tall with a slim build. And at the time of the shooting, he was wearing dark clothes and a blue surgical mask. Now, the motive at this time is still unknown. That's what's being investigated right now by the homicide unit. But police are asking anyone with information or any video footage of the time of the shooting to come forward and talk to police. Tim, I'll send things over to you.
Thanks, Simone. An Ontario man suspected in an international scheme to sell suicide chemicals online is now accused of a string of murders. Yesterday, Peel Police announced 14 charges of second-degree murder against Kenneth Law of Mississauga. So the investigation began with the death in Mississauga of a person suspected of consuming sodium nitrate bought online from a company believed to be owned by Law, a former chef. Now, sodium nitrate is commonly used in food in small amounts as a preservative, but can be deadly in large quantities. They say they're looking into a possible motive, and the Ontario victims were male and female between the ages of 16 and 36.
We believe that packages were sent to over 40 countries in Canada, and this is an approximate. We believe about 160 packages were sent.
The British police are investigating whether 90 deaths there are linked to this case, including the death of a well-known TikTok celebrity. Law's lawyer says he'll be pleading not guilty to all charges. No word if the investigation is tied to Hamilton, Halton, or Niagara.
Well, could the Ontario government end up taking over operation of two major municipal parkways in Hamilton? That's the thought. Hamilton Mayor Andrea Horwath says she would be open to discussing a deal that would see the province take over the Lincoln-Alexander Parkway and the Red Hill Valley Parkway. In a statement, Horwath says Hamilton is facing, quote, unsustainable infrastructure challenges and cannot be addressed by further increasing our residents' property tax bill. Councillor John Paul Danko says offloading those roadways would be a big help.
It would be a huge savings for the city of Hamilton. We have unfunded capital requirements for both of those roadways, tens of millions of dollars down the road. We're also looking at widening in the future, so that cost would also be uploaded to the province, and potentially there's a huge amount of savings to City Hamilton taxpayers.
So this all comes after the Ford government agreed to take over the Don Valley Parkway and Gardner Expressways from the City of Toronto in exchange for taking over Ontario Place and the redevelopment. In a statement to CHCH News, the Office of Ontario's Transportation Minister said the deal offered to Toronto reflected what they called the city's unique financial challenges.
Federal government is going to start consultations next month to develop a catalog of pre-approved home designs.
The homes that we build in the future might not look quite like the Victory homes of the past century. They'll involve new technologies, including modular housing, panelization, mass timber, and even 3D printing.
That's Housing Minister Sean Fraser saying the initiative is patterned on a post-Second World War era program. So the new catalog is going to focus on small to medium scale residential properties, including student housing and senior residences. A set of recommendations for the federal government, including developing such a catalog, was released in a report this past summer.
City of Hamilton is accepting applications for a new energy efficiency program under the new Better Homes Hamilton pilot. Eligible homeowners would be given money to help make their home more energy efficient. A low-interest fixed-rate loan of up to $20,000 will be offered to 50 homeowners as part of this pilot. The money, though, has to be used on things like improving insulation, sealing off drafts, and installing air source heat pumps. There's a virtual information session tomorrow with details on the City of Hamilton's website. Well, a Porter Airlines plane almost made an emergency landing in Hamilton. Yesterday afternoon, several emergency vehicles were called to John C. Munro Hamilton International Airport to prepare for an aircraft diversion. Porter says a flight from Montreal to Toronto's Billy Bishop Airport had, quote, a hydraulic indication and needed more space to land. Hamilton was on standby, but the flight landed safely at Pearson International as a precaution. Porter Airlines says the plane is now being assessed by maintenance crews. Meantime, nearly 300 people on a Delta flight from Amsterdam to Detroit had to spend Sunday night in military barracks in Labrador. Delta says the flight, with 270 passengers on board, when the pilot reported mechanical issues. The plane had to divert to Happy Valley Goose Bay. Delta says the detour was out of an abundance of caution. The airline worked with officials in Labrador to provide food and overnight accommodation for passengers at the barracks. Delta says they sent another plane to pick everybody up on Monday.
Are we getting another award-winning musical out of this one? Come From Away too?
Come From Away, Happy Valley.
Yeah, there you go. Okay. Let's get into Sports Line. We got Maple Leaf highlights for you again this morning as their dad tour continued in New York, going from the island into the Big Apple, facing off against the Rangers at the world's most famous arena.
Nylander winds in, still has it. Nylander feeds it back across. Matthews shoots, scores! Austin Matthews!
Yeah, perfect stage for Austin Matthews to continue his hot streak for the second night in a row. Matthews would get the Leafs on the board. Beauty set up from his pal, Willie Nylander, much to the delight of the Papas. Big night for Matthews and Mitch Marner, who he set up for a beauty goal a little bit later in the period. The Buds, they would score 4 times in the opening frame. Well, that little pass there. Now, they did allow the Rangers back into it before Matthews and crew would put it away in the third. He would score his second of the night, 21st of the season for the league lead. He finished with 4 points. Leafs win big, 7-3 the final.
Now Hughes cuts wide, round the net, out the near side. Besser scores!
Well, Matthews did have the league lead in goals for a couple of hours, but the Canucks' Brock Besser would tie him with 21 in the season after scoring his second hat trick of the season in Van City as the Canucks continue their great start with a 4-1 win over Tampa Bay. Vancouver tied for the second most points in the league.
Oh, yeah. Here's Bedard off the stretch. Quick shot, he scores! Over the left shoulder of Stuart Skinner. And Connor Bedard has his 12th of the year.
Oh, look at this goal by phenom Connor Bedard, who was in Edmonton for the first ever Connor Bowl, featuring two of the best in the league. Bedard would get his Blackhawks on the board with his 12th of the season, but was the only highlight as McDavid and his crew are on some kind of run right now after a horrible start. No goals for the Oilers, Connor, but he did have a couple assists as Edmonton wins an 8th straight game. They beat the Hawks 4-1.
D'Angelo. Shake it off and get it to Aho. He scores!
Yeah, we finish a busy night for Canadian teams on the ice in the nation's capital as the Hurricanes will blow past the Senators to snap their 4-game losing streak. 4-1 the final there. Sebastian Aho had 2 goals for Carolina, while Michael Andlauer's Sands continued a tough start, sitting at the bottom of the Atlantic Division standings. Okay, let's finish up in the NBA where the Golden State Warriors' Draymond Green doesn't seem to learn. He was ejected for the 3rd time in this young season after a wild swing. Look at that! Oh, wow. Hitting the Suns' Yusuf Nurkic in the face. Less than a month ago, Green was suspended for 5 games for putting Rudy Gobert into a headlock. Nurkic would be okay, and Green did apologize after the game. We could see another suspension for the Golden State forward. One more time. There you go.
Ow, ow, ow. Okay, 12 minutes after 6 o'clock. It is Wednesday, 13th of December. We'll start with traffic, then we'll get to our forecast for today. All right, 403 Waterdown Road, nothing to see there. It's just getting a little bit busier, but that's just normal. All pretty well normal so far this morning. To our MTO traffic cameras, St. Catharines, here's the QEW at Martindale. Nothing to see right there. Top of the Burlington Skyway Bridge, so Toronto-bound lanes coming towards us. A little bit busy through here. We'll flip ahead to the 403 junction around Brand Street. Looks good. No problems east of Royal Windsor. Just a couple of vehicles off to the side. Now, that's the ramp going to Mississauga Road from the Toronto-bound QEW, but, you know, it's not really impeding any traffic flow, so all doing okay right there. Get to our temperature at the moment. Temperature is sitting at -3 right now. The winds, southwest at 17, makes it feel like -9, so I will call that a chilly start to the morning here. Now, that temperature is above seasonal for an overnight low. The skies are mainly clear at the moment. Air quality today, no problems again. Low risk category for morning and afternoon. And for school today, high is only going to hit +1 for the day, and that is a seasonal daytime high now for this time of year. But I say a lot cooler than yesterday. We got to 5. Wind chill this morning, -8 to -9. That wind is going to be strong again today. So it'll be west 30 gusting to 50. And there is a chance of some flurries with that sunshine. That ridge of high pressure is kicking in the lake effect machine once again to the north. So we could get some flurries penetrating into this area. But otherwise, it's going to give us some sunshine today and sun for the next few days as well. And that's going to help our temperatures too. So today, +1, +2. That's about it. Some sun for the day today. Well, a mix of sun and clouds, but there's that chance of flurries. Toronto could get a couple of centimeters in snow squalls. Tonight, a little bit chilly. -4 to -5 overnight. Wind chills around -11, so it's going to be cool. Some areas, some flurries. And then tomorrow, better day tomorrow. We'll have lots of sunshine tomorrow. A little bit of cloud cover for the afternoon, but 4 and 5 degrees for tomorrow. So we'll take that above seasonal. So out the door this morning, 13th of December. Temperature right now, -3. Wind chill -9. It is mainly clear. We'll look long range in a few minutes. Annette, Tim.
Okay, now we're looking ahead to Chit Chat with Emily Vukovic. Good morning.
Good morning. Coming up, we've lost another sitcom great. We'll discuss who that is. And Taylor Swift is donating big time to tornado victims.
Okay. We'll see you in the couch in a little bit.
I'll be there.
After the break.
Okay, oil may be lifeblood of our economy, but what about all the maple syrup? There are problems.
Love maple syrup in my tea.
Yes.
Very yummy.
$6.17 on your Wednesday morning. Canadian dollar unchanged at 73.58 cents US. Gold is up $4. Crude is up 7 cents to $68.68 a barrel. Midday trading in Europe, markets are up in London, Frankfurt, and Paris.
Check in on Asia. Markets are up in Tokyo, down in Hong Kong and Shanghai. North American markets, TSX, some slight losses, second day in a row. Some gains on Wall Street, though, triple-digit gains. We'll see how the markets do when they open a little bit later this morning on this Wednesday, December the 13th.
So maple syrup production in Canada has hit a 5-year low. It's because of severe storms and changing temperatures. Statistics Canada says production from Quebec, the country's top supplier, is down 41%, mostly due to an ice storm in late spring. New Brunswick's maple production dropped 35% this year, and Ontario's by 15%. Canadian maple producers harvested about 47 million litres of syrup earlier this year. That's down 40% from the year before.
The Electronic Entertainment Expo is officially dead. The video game trade group, Entertainment Software Association, says E3 is over. The mass gathering, it was hit hard by the COVID pandemic. First it was canceled in 2020, then went virtual in 2021 before being canceled again in 2022 and this year. But the event had issues before the pandemic hit and forced its cancellation, with big companies either skipping the fair or staging their own events nearby. Now it is shutting down for good after nearly 3 decades.
3 popular retailers are pulling a product marketed to children. Amazon, Target, and Walmart have voluntarily stopped selling water beads after public health officials called for a ban on them. Water beads are tiny balls made out of extremely absorbent polymer material. They're supposed to help kids with things like fine motor skills and counting. But when these beads are exposed to liquid, they can expand to 100 times their initial weight and size, and that makes them a severe choking hazard if they're swallowed.
Netflix has given the world just a bit of a deeper look at its viewership data. The company now says they'll publish what shows people watch during a 6-month period twice a year. Streaming services pledge to increase transparency about how many hours certain programs are streamed. This is all part of the Writers Guild of America contract that was ratified back in October. First report covers January to June of this year. Netflix viewers spent the most time watching the following: The Night Agent, Season 1, never heard of it, with more than 812 hours. Ginny and Georgia, heard of that one, Season 2. And The Glory, Season 1, had more than 660 million hours each. Also, Wednesday, Season 1, and Queen Charlotte, a Bridgerton story, had more than 500 hours each. Is it Bridgerton?
Bridgerton.
Bridgerton, yes. Bridgerton. I always get that one wrong.
I know Keith, one of our camera guys, really likes that series.
Oh, okay.
Well, the menu for the Paris 2024 Olympic Games is going green.
It's also our responsibility to educate the people who will be engaged in Paris 2024 that it's a collective duty now to change our habits and definitely to reduce our carbon footprint.
Next summer, Olympic organizers say the food served during the Games will be at least 60% vegetarian. A sneak peek shows some of the meat-free burgers, quinoa salads, and falafels that athletes and spectators will be treated to. 80% of all meals at Olympic venues will also be made from produce that's sourced in France to reduce the Games' carbon footprint. I would go there just for the food.
I was just, where's the French onion soup, or the onion soup and the baguettes? Huh? All right, one more for you. To help stave off dementia, Japanese researchers say try a sushi condiment, wasabi. Its active ingredient, 6-MSITC, has known antioxidant and anti-inflammatory properties. And now it's been linked to improve short and long-term memory. So researchers at a local university split 72 healthy volunteers between the ages of 60 and 80 into 2 groups. One received 100 milligrams of wasabi extract and the other got a placebo. After 3 months of daily use, they found those given the wasabi had boosts in memory, both short and long term. But just a heads up, the real stuff can cost hundreds of dollars per pound here in Canada, and it can be hot.
Hey.
It gets the old nostrils going if you get it a good little batch of it.
Yeah.
Woo.
Okay, taking a break right now. I think I need a tea.
Oh.
Brian's back with your traffic and your 7-day
Normally you just like slide it over this way.
6:25 already on this Wednesday morning, looking at our MTO traffic cameras. Here's the QEW Mississauga Road. Now, we do have a tow truck on the scene now. It's on the ramp from the eastbound or Toronto-bound QEW going to Mississauga Road. Larger vehicles are having trouble squeezing by because that's a construction ramp there, as you can see, but at least it's going to be moved. Martindale looks good in St. Catharines, so does Glendale, so no problems there. We'll check Centennial Parkway, nothing to see. Same with the 403 junction. East of Royal Windsor Drive, so as you're going past the Ford plant, Toronto bound away from us, all doing fine. There's that problem at Mississauga Road. 403 at here, Ontario, looks pretty good this morning, so not a lot happening in traffic. Just take it carefully, please. Look at this temperature. Hamilton, a lot chillier than it was yesterday. We're sitting at -3 at the moment. Wind chill this morning is -8 right now, -8 to -9, -2 Mississauga, -1 Grimsby, 0 for Toronto right now. Seasonals, a high of +1. Now, we got to 5 yesterday, but today we're only going to climb to +1, -6 for the overnight low. Those are our sun times and our records for today. For school today, we should be -1 by the first bell, some sunshine this morning, and then there's a chance of some flurries later this afternoon. Temperature will fall from the daytime high to about 0 by later this afternoon. So we should hit +1, as I said, with that sun cloud and then chance of flurries for today. -5 tonight. A lot chillier. Wind chill of -11. Tomorrow, we get to the plus side better. 4 degrees, sun and clouds. Friday, still beautiful, sunny and 8. Then it gets cloudy for the weekend. Chance of showers on Sunday, but 6 and 5, and then 4 for the beginning of next week. Let's look at your forecast. And that, Tim.
All right, thanks, Brian. Well, NASA has released a new image of the youngest supernova remnant in our galaxy. It's called Cassiopeia A, or Cass-A.
Yeah, okay. We'll call it that.
Right.
It's taken by the James Webb Space Telescope. This is the closest and most detailed look inside the exploded star. Astronomers use Webb's near-infrared camera to see the supernova remnant at different wavelengths of light than those in previous observations. The image could help researchers better understand what fuels these massive incendiary events. Yeah, what the James Webb Telescope has done for us is just amazing, and actually going to be one of our top news stories coming up in our year recap on Boxing Day. So beautiful. Writer Jonathan put something together for that, so looking forward to sharing that with you. Like the rest of our show, we have a fine little program on this Wednesday, December the 13th. Oh, Oasis. Nice one, Director Laura. Oh, yeah. We'll see you in a couple minutes.